How do I know when I've finished editing a photo? It's taking forever. Hi and welcome to episode 128 of the Photography Explained podcast. I'm your host Rick, and in each episode I will try to explain one photographic thing to you in plain English in less than 10 minutes-ish without the irrelevant details. What I tell you is based on my lifetime of photographic experience and not Google. Want me to answer your photography question? Well, get your thinking caps on, more on this at the end. Here is the answery bit. If it's taking forever editing photos, I can help you. If it feels like it is taking forever to edit photos, there might be a problem. There comes a point in photo editing when you're getting very little more for the efforts you put in. If you're spending 20 minutes editing a photo, you might find you could have finished it 15 minutes earlier. And if you want to know how to find this out, then listen on. This is good stuff. Well, I would say that, wouldn't I? Okay, so this is it. Right, so this is what I suggest you do, and this will make sense when I get to the end of it. Edit one photo, spending as long as you want. Sit down, relax, and give yourself the permission and time to spend as long as you want editing one photo. Yeah, I'm back to the one photo thing again, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the last episode, and a particularly fine one it was too. Go on, indulge yourself, give yourself the time, and do whatever you want to a photo. And let me tell you this, just by doing this, you'll be thinking about what you're doing more than you might have been before. Giving yourself the permission to take as long as you want should take away the frustration of feeling like editing photos is taking forever. It's a very, very strange thing that happens when you do this. Now we remove that frustration, you can concentrate on editing that one photo and no more. And you can spend as long as you want. Do whatever you want. Enjoy yourself, relax, have a drink. And when you're done, take a note of how long you took. You'll need this later. Right then, so what next? Well, next, edit a copy of the same photo, but give yourself 5 minutes and no more. Now, if you didn't take more than 5 minutes, move on to the next step, which is this. Edit another copy of the photo, but give yourself 2 minutes and no more. And then, you might know where I'm going with this. Edit another copy of the photo, but give yourself 1 minute and no more. Right, we're done. You've got 4 photos that you've edited. Look at the 4 photos and be completely honest with yourself. Can you really tell the difference? Which is the best photo? I mean, does the one that took the longest look the best? Or is there not that much difference? Now, I know there's a potential problem with this. By the time you edit the last photo, you'll have an idea of what you're doing, of what you're enhancing, what you're trying to achieve, what the adjustments were. So it will be quicker, but no sweat, I have the answer to that. Yep, got that one covered. Wait for it. So we're going to do the same thing, but in reverse. Choose another photo and do 4 edits. But for the first one, do the first edit in less than a minute. Next one in less than 2 minutes. Next one in less than 5 minutes. And finally, take as long as you want. And what's happened here? Well, this is what I hope has happened. You might have done each edit much quicker, and you might well have found that you didn't need more than the 5 minutes at the end. You didn't need that extra time at all. So try it, see what happens, it's well worth it. Right, that was a scripted bit for this section. And you can try, so this is the ad-lib bit now, before I get on to the talky bit, which is code for, I've just remembered some stuff. You don't have to edit a photo in less than a minute, you don't have to edit a photo in less than 2 minutes, but you can try this on other photos. And the other thing that you can try, which I should have written here, is edit one photo in less than another. I'll try that again. Edit one photo in less than a minute, then edit another similar photo in less than 2 minutes, then 3, then 4, then 5, and see what happens. And you can keep on doing this. So, right, I'm going to go on to the talky bit now because I'm in danger of duplicating my carefully scripted episode. The talky bit. It's okay to spend endless time editing photos if that's what you enjoy doing. Of course it is. I'm not saying it's not, but if you feel like it's taking forever editing photos and this is frustrating you, then you might need to take a different approach, and this should help you. Yes, get the best photos you can for sure. That's our number one priority for every photo. You get the best photo that you can. But give what I suggest a go and see what happens. Just doing this, it'll hopefully show you what's possible, and maybe it might be that little eye-opener that you don't need to spend all that time. Now, it's not just an exercise in saving time for time's sake. That third go at that sentence. This is not about creating rubbish quickly and moving on. This is about learning when an edit is done. This is about you learning how much time you need to spend editing photos. Yeah, I'll say it again. If this is your thing, if this is what you love to do, then great. But if you don't want to spend forever editing photos, if you're frustrated and don't know when a photo's finished, then just try it. Once you tried it, like I said before, apply this to other photos and see what happens. And if you're happy with a photo that you created in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whichever, doesn't matter, try to edit other photos in a similar time. Now, I'm not saying get every photo edited within 2 minutes, because that brings added pressure. But you're giving yourself a guide, and you know that if you need to edit 10 photos, that rather than not knowing how long it's going to take you, you know that you'll be able to get it done in 20 to 30 minutes. It's that change in mindset and knowing you're not time pressured to do something that makes it more enjoyable, and you'll do a better job as well. This isn't an absolute, it's a rough time, it's a guide, it gives you a general idea of how long you need to edit a photo. So just try it, see how you get on. Like I say, you got nothing to lose but your own time. And yes, what I'm writing about here, and yes, what I'm talking about here, I've written it already, haven't I? It's based entirely on my own experiences. I've been here, and what I found out was this. The photos that I took forever over, and this is some years ago, I have to say, in many cases, they were actually worse than the ones that I'd edited more quickly. See, what I'd done is I'd over-edited them, thinking that this is what I needed to do, because I didn't know any better. So I just kept on going and kept on going and kept on going and tweaking and what have you. I'd spend forever on a photo, and having spent forever, I'd never be quite satisfied that I'd finished. I never knew when I'd finished. And it I don't know, it affected me, and I didn't enjoy it because I felt like I hadn't done enough. I felt like I could do more. I was looking at other people's stuff and thinking, well, mine's nowhere near as good. I need to do more. And I didn't. I needed to do less. And I also needed to take better photos, which gets me on to the next point, really. And I know that the time it takes to edit photos depends on your experience and knowledge of the software that you're using, but the principle still applies. Sorry, the bit I was stumbling to say here is this. Once I've made myself work more quickly, I became much more efficient, and my photos actually improved. The frustration of never knowing when I was finished went away. And since I had this realisation, and it took me a long time to get there, I've never looked back. Now, there's no right time. There's no specific time that you need to edit your photos. You just need to be aware that there's a point in photo editing when you're in danger of overdoing things. There comes a time when a photo is done. And that is the hard bit to know. I get that. I completely get that. How do you know when a photo's finished? And my old rule of thumb used to be, I said at the beginning, about 15 minutes before I thought it was finished. That's how much time I was spending doing that. Extra little bits that really just made things worse. So yeah, I know it's hard to know when you're finished, but don't be too harsh on yourself. Try what I suggest and see how you get on. At the very least, it'll get you thinking about this, which has to be a good thing, right? And if it's something that's spoiling your enjoyment of photography, then it's well worth doing, because we should be enjoying ourselves. Editing photos, to me, is a joy. And one of the reasons it's a joy is because I know it's not going to take me too long. I'm very, very fortunate to be in that position. I enjoy editing photos. I know if I need to produce 30 photos for a client, well, I expect to be done in half an hour tops, because I've got some automation in there. Oh, sorry, I'm going on to the next bit. What do I do? Well, nearly spoiled it then, didn't I? I edit photos quickly, pretty quickly, and I have an amount of automation in Lightroom already set up. I mean, more on that in a future episode. So I'll spend a couple of minutes and no more on photos from a shoot for clients, and most of that's getting the verticals and horizontals perfect if I haven't in camera. If I have, I don't need to do that, so you could be looking at 30 seconds to edit one photo, and if they're all photos from, say, the same room, I can copy and paste stuff, so there's other things that you can do. If I'm getting client photos done in 30 seconds, I'm happy, but don't tell anybody, please. For personal work, travel photos, well, I'll probably take less time than that, to be honest with you. Unless it's something, unless I just fancy an hour sat down editing photos. Yeah, I still do that. I still plonk myself down, give myself an hour, play around with a photo. I still do that, but I don't have that frustration that's a barrier to me. So I'm in a good position, so it's fine to do that. Right, the last word. Well, try the 4-photo edit thing twice and be honest with yourself. Ask yourself this question. What do you want to do with your time? Do you want to sit down, tweaking things forever and a day? Or do you want to be doing something else with your life? Now, I know which I want to do. I want to be out creating new images that I can come back and quickly edit. To close the circle nicely, I'm quite impressed with that. That wasn't even in the script. Next episode. Well, in Photography Explained episode, in Photography Explained podcast episode 129, how I save time editing photos, 11 top tips just for you. Now, I've had a couple of chatty sessions, but now I want to get into something that will actually save you tons of time. And this is, again, it's what I do. But this is all stuff about trying to give you confidence in your editing and take away. I know that a lot of you struggle with photo editing because you don't know how to get started. You don't know when you're done, and it's taking forever. So I'm trying to give you some help and confidence so you can progress with your editing. Okay, so do you want me to answer your questions? Well, I hope you do, but you're not limited to one question. Not with me, not on my podcast. Oh no. See, my podcast has been created to answer your photography questions and not mine. So please get in touch with your question, and when I answer it, I'll give you a number of shout-outs in that episode. And that episode will exist forever in podcast land, as far as I know. Just head over to photographyexplainedpodcast.com/start, where you can also find out more about my podcast, lots of good stuff, and do nice stuff to help me. Okay, this episode was powered by, wait for it, a cheese sandwich and a bag of roast chicken crisps. Not home crisps, I know, but I fancied them. All washed down with a lovely cold Diet Pepsi, sat here in my homemade, acoustically cushioned recording emporium on a hot sunny day with the window closed. I'm not going to lie to you, I'm pretty much melting now, so I'm going to move on. I've been Rick McAvoy. Thanks again very much for listening to my small but perfectly formed podcast, it says here. And for giving me 10-ish minutes, possibly 11 today. I might have made 11. I'll make 12 if I carry on waffling, won't I? And for giving me 11-ish minutes of your valuable time. I look forward to hearing from you and answering your questions in future episodes. Take care, stay safe. Cheers from me, Rick.